Hello everybody and welcome to VFR. Today we are here on the ground in Amarillo, Texas, continuing our trek westward to reach the Pacific coast with a stop in Albuquerque, New Mexico next. So welcome aboard to Transcon 2022, the live show where we fly across these United States in a twin Cessna. Number 866 Tango Whiskey. We are on VATSIM for today's flight. No ATC of note. We'll get into that as we get down. Now, last time, in case you missed it, we departed out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a cloudy Tulsa, Oklahoma, low IFR, coming in and going out. And we broke through the clouds to end up in beautiful Amarillo. And now, as you all know, we're into the part of the country heavily referenced in country music songs and other pop culture events. Today we're visiting the famed site of, or the host city, the setting is, I guess, the literary term, of the show Breaking Bad, among other things. So let's get on our way here. It should be a pretty simple flight. We have about an hour and 20 minutes in the air, if all things go pretty well. Thank you all for coming along as we look at melted Albuquerque. Or melted Amarillo. I'm going to get that messed up all day long. So we're here in our trusty 310R, and again, a couple things that are new with the setup in general. Number one, I've started using X's and O's to fill out some of the control bindings. So this is just fun because I can do landing lights with my Honeycomb Alpha. I can control most of these switches now with the Alpha, which is really, really nice when you turn nav light on. Any light can come off. Among other things, that's just a huge, huge help for not having to look down at and click on something while doing. I focused. I don't want to map everything, especially in something like the 737. In a GA plane, it's kind of more similar, but I don't mind looking around at clicking switches and buttons. But I like to map all the things that are important in the critical phases of flight. It's kind of like DCS. In DCS, if there's something that I'm going to be doing under combat conditions, you want it mapped, probably. You don't want to be looking around the cockpit. Same thing here. So if I'm rolling out on the runway, I need to turn on landing lights. It's good not to have to look down and then up. But anyway, a little bit of a ramble. Thank you all for coming along on this, our 7th flight, I believe. We probably have 2 more legs after this. So we have Albuquerque to Amarillo, or Amarillo to Albuquerque, and then on from there. So let's pull up SimToolkit Pro. Where have we been and where are we going? We got a nice severe turbulence over the Midwest, over Ohio. But anyway, we started out here on Long Island, New York City. We flew past New York City up the Hudson River, and then out into Pennsylvania. Past Middletown out to Gettysburg. We ended up in Gettysburg. We then jumped over to Pittsburgh in the next leg. So that's 2. And then Pittsburgh, we went to Dayton, Indianapolis, and then ended up in Chicago. So up here. So if you're tracking along, we went here, up into Chicago. And then Route 66 won the vote of how we should proceed from there. So we have since went down from Chicago, through the city of St. Louis, Missouri, straight down through Missouri, through Tulsa, Oklahoma. We stopped, flew over Oklahoma City here, and made that right-hand turn to Amarillo in the last leg. So now we're here in Amarillo. We are, I don't know, 60% of the way, 60% to go. We're going to make it to Albuquerque next, and then I think there's a couple longer jumps. I mean, from here is what it looks like, right? We're going to Southern California. Here, that's LAX. I don't know exactly where we're going to fly into Los Angeles, but that's our ultimate goal here. So we probably have another, call that 2 hours of flying to middle of Arizona, and then maybe 2 hours to Los Angeles. So we might have 4 hours of flying. That's probably 2 streams, plus this one, so 3 streams in total left. But we are going to try and make Albuquerque today. So for a flight into Albuquerque, we are here at Amarillo. It is a Class C airport. We have 2 runways. We have a 3-1, which is going to be our choice Wind reporting into Amarillo is... That's showing 020 at 7 knots. So just about due north. So we don't have any... Not terrible. Guys in Microsoft Flight Simulator are beautiful. They're reporting a little bit of cloud, I think. But essentially, we're going to depart due west, heading 263 direct to the Tucumari VOR, Tango Charlie Charlie on 113.6. And then we're going to make the left-hand turn, and basically we're following Interstate 40, the road here. We're going to overfly Santa Rosa, Route 66 Airport, Sierra X-ray uniform here along the what would be the former Route 66. And then we will make the right-hand turn and continue. We have a VOR here, the Auto VOR, or we can go direct. We do have the GTN 750 lined up for this flight today. And after that, it's just Albuquerque. Albuquerque International Sunport, which is another Class Charlie airport out here in the middle of New Mexico. So that is our flight today. I have filed at 7,500, mostly for this stretch. We will have to climb as we get further west. So really, once we're passing Tucumari, we'll climb out 7,500. We can probably head up to 8,500. We'll here, mostly we need to be clearing. These are 8,000 foot peaks here, so 11.5. We'll have to climb a little bit just as we get into Albuquerque, or we can kind of go VFR north and into the area that way. But either way, there will be some terrain coming up to meet us. So we'll stay kind of at low and slow the whole way. Will be the goal. Chris, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming. Hope things are well in Houston, Texas. We're getting ready to leave your fair state and continue on our way. Let's get set up. So we've got nav light on. We'll get all this stuff set up and ready to go for the moment. Fuel tanks, was I a good pilot? Oh, I was. Look at that. So we'll put it both in the main tanks. This is a good time to consult our fueling and loading. So what have we been doing? I think we've been doing nose and rear baggage and an additional passenger. This is, we have 11 tanks. We didn't touch our aux tanks on the last flight. We won't get there on this flight either. So let's refill the mains. I have 4,790 right now. 5,200, we're below max takeoff weight at that point. 5,500 there. So that is good. Everything else is still configured the right way, and we'll worry about that in a minute. All right. Alternators come on. Battery on. Let it beep at us. Nav light is on. We'll go ahead and turn the beacon on too, because we're getting ready to start up. Let's close this door. And let's lock it this time. And then we'll open this up and get ready for an engine start. So I think some of this stuff is bound on the Alpha, if I remember correctly. I think I did it. Well, maybe not. Oh, I did do it that way. I see. So it's these 4 switches. So I have 4 switches on the Honeycomb Bravo mapped to those magnetos. That is going to pitot heat? No, that is pitot heat. Okay. We don't want that on yet, but that's all fine. Okay, so just figuring some of this stuff out. I need to work on the labels for it. And the other thing I did bind was the aux pumps. So I have these 2 switches which will set the aux pumps to low. So we've got aux pump and low for the right engine. Go ahead and turn on the left engine too. We'll plan on starting the right engine first. Everything else is okay, I believe. Does that get rid of it? Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. That's all good. We got fuel, mixture, prop, throttles are cracked. We'll crack the left throttle, or we'll crack the right throttle. Set to prime, left magnetos are on. We are refueled. Let's give it a try. And that catch is a little slow to catch. We will do a run up here before we leave Amarillo. Just because we've been running this bird pretty hard. Let's go left engine now. Crack the throttles. And start engines. Good engine start on both. We do have the parking brake on. And we'll just let that warm up a little bit while we get avionics on and set up. We do need to, for our radios, comm radio, we need to go to 122.8. For CTAF here in Amarillo. I think we're the only ones in Amarillo. We do have, oh man, we've got everybody but Albuquerque Center online right now around us. We got Fort Worth, we got Kansas City, we got Denver, we got Salt Lake City, and we've got Los Angeles. So that's actually a pretty good night for some VATSIM action. I don't know what people are doing. Looks like there's some heavy departure and arrival between Fort Worth and Chicago. Interesting. All right, so we'll get ready. We'll squawk 2000 here. Well, actually, we'll squawk VFR. Let's do that. And so let's take a look at where we are on the field. This is Amarillo. And last I saw, which was on Sky Vector, Amarillo is reporting wind 020 at 7 knots. That would put us down on runway 4. So if we come out here, we're kind of at the northern hangars. So we'll come down. Charlie, is that Papa? Yeah, it looks like it. So we'll be taxiing to runway 4 via Charlie Papa 1. Field elevation 3,606 feet. We'll have to lean it out a little bit as we start up. We can do our run up down here in the run up pad. That should be good. All right. Last thing, we need to make sure that we have some air control for our passengers. We'll just open all this up pretty good. And then cowl flaps are all in. Everything else is good. All right, so we'll release the parking brake. Take a look around, make sure we're not going to hit anybody. And get on our way. I'm going to give it one notch of flaps to start out with while we taxi off the ramp. So thank you all for coming along. If you're just joining us, we are taking a trip from Amarillo, Texas, out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, leg 7 of our transcontinental flight in the Cessna 310R. Has been a fun one. Now, I don't know if this taxiway, why are they marked right? No, because that's calling it Alpha and it's Papa. We'll go ahead and make our radio call now for that. Amarillo traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, taxiing to runway 4 via Charlie Papa 1, Amarillo. This is a big runway, 13,502 feet. Very large runway. Here, for reference, I mean, at most international airports, 10,000 at was what the airport I landed at last night in Minneapolis. Now, of course, this did used to be Amarillo Air Force Base, serving from 42 to 46 and 51 to 68, hence the really long runway, especially 60s era airplanes. And that's been a passenger airline for longer than that afterwards. Let's keep going. Let's keep a taxi light on. Everything else, I think, is good. Now, what did I say that first VOR was going to be? We'll do this glass, but the old-fashioned way. We're tracking 263. And I should, actually. Let's see if I set up this right. 263. That's 2.5, and that's 2.6. And that's 2.6.3. We'll just align the heading bug too. So heading 263. And that is going to be a VOR 113.6. It's going to be the frequency we're looking for. 113.6. Amarillo also has a VOR. We can tune the Panhandle. Oh, that's right. The Panhandle VOR on 116.6, which we actually already have. And it is co-located, so we could track that outbound too if we wanted to. So taking them, we could actually do an intersection departure if we wanted to. And I'm actually going to call it here because I don't want to drive all the way down there. So we will pull up here. I'm going to turn ourselves into the wind. Just kind of out of the way. And then we'll get going here. Doing a quick run up. We're just going to check all the mags because, you know, this is an airplane with failures enabled. So we'll set parking brake. We'll bring the throttles up. Looking for about 1700 RPM. It's going to lag a little bit. Looks to be about 1700. That's left, left. That's left, right. Right, left. And right, right. We'll just exercise the props too. We'll bring them fully back. And the last thing I want to do is lean it out for field elevation. Just a bit. So that's getting us a little bit here. Checking on all our gauges. All right, that's the run up. Amarillo traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We're going to take runway 4 from Papa 2 for an intersection departure, departing out to the west, Amarillo. All right. Let's do it. Let's light it up. Strobes on, landing lights on. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough runway. Arc forward, and then again off the runway, we're going to make a left-hand turn. Airspeed's alive. That's about 80 knots. About 100 is going to go flying for us. at positive rate. We got 2 engines, gears coming up. We'll bring flaps up as well. And come back to climb power here. We do need to watch out. There's a prohibited zone north of us. And actually see it out here. So we just have to be careful of that. And we're climbing to 7,500 is the idea. So we'll make a left-hand turn now. Gears up. Flaps are up. Verify that with our controls since we have a new control scheme. I'm not sure we've got the VOR. So let's pick up the panhandle VOR until we figure that out. Climbing out, engine instruments in the green. We are going to fly over the city of Amarillo. That's 4,500. Climbing out on the blue line. And here it comes. We'll do our best to hit that. And hold it. We're pretty close into the VOR, so that should be fine. Climb through 5,000 now. We are on our way. So passing downtown Amarillo off our left. Kind of in the northern panhandle part of Texas. Part that carves out of Oklahoma. And our next stop is New Mexico. Welcome aboard, everybody. Hope y'all are flying, having a good time flying. Flying cool places and all that. Now, as far as flying is concerned, we have 93 nautical miles. So we either, if we've gone 93 nautical miles away from the Panhandle VOR, we should be starting to ask some questions. But we should be on to the Tucumari VOR at that point. We'll see. We are on our way. At there, 6,000. I'm just going to set up some altitude, set up some autopilot so we can get some good, good views here. As we climb out. over to Texas. Coming on 175 now. Should capture and level off. And we've made it. And there's I can't remember it. There's the Tucumari VOR coming in there. So we'll pull that in. So, all right, an uneventful, quiet departure in Amarillo. We should probably just let everybody know we're out of the way. Amarillo traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We are clear of the runway, departing out to the west. Last call, Amarillo. Sit back, relax. We're going to cruise for a little while. Thank you all for coming along. Thank you all for coming along. If you're just joining us, we are en route, cruising 7,500 feet from the city of Amarillo on to Albuquerque, crossing from Texas into New Mexico on our Transcon 2022. Our trip across these United States. I do think we're a little bit south of the road. So if you're wondering where the big road is, I'm just pulling up some reference. Yeah, so that is the Interstate 40 that we've been tracking basically the whole way since we left Chicago. So you're asking where the road went. That's right there, roughly. Just like further north, lots of fields, flat as far as the eye can see. That's gonna end. We're gonna hit our first mountain since leaving Pennsylvania and West Virginia a few thousand miles ago. We'll see them coming up the horizon not in too long. Excited to see some terrain again. What are we making ground speed wise? 175, not bad, not bad, not bad. I mean, we could probably even, having climbed up a little bit, we can increase the throttle a bit. Bring the props back a little bit. And lean out the mixture a little bit more. 71. So didn't like that so much. That's pretty good. So we can push 180 here. We're on our way to Tucumari, 56 miles to go there. And we're basically following the road to Santa Rosa. And then making the final cross into Albuquerque. Some traffic on the ground at Albuquerque at the moment. Might get some company. So thank y'all for coming along. Hope y'all are doing well tonight. Lots of fun things going on. I got a little bit of a chunk of time off in and around the Christmas holiday, but gonna be out of town, so I'm not sure we're gonna get to fly too much. But maybe a little bit more before New Year's. Trying to pump out a couple more videos. We did a fun flight from Minneapolis with the Minneapolis event last night. Which is good. Did a good turnaround. Flew Omaha to Minneapolis in the 737. Doing some Delta ops, but unfortunately it crashed. Had a crash over Lake Michigan, heading towards Detroit for the second leg. So our little computer's showing 15 minutes to Tucumari. And after that, it's going to be left-hand turn heading... what did I say? 242. And since we're not really using that right now, let's set the... Nope. Oops, wrong one. I went one too far. I wanted the heading bug. But I think we were just a little bit off anyway. Anyway, 242. So when I ask in 15 minutes what direction we should be going, maybe it'll jog my memory. We'll start to see some hills out in the distance. So not Nixon. Well, basically running a Ryzen 3700X and a NVIDIA RTX 3070. Running, mine is at 1440p. I don't think I'm exporting at 1440p. With 32 gigabytes of RAM, I think. Works pretty well. I'm thinking, I've been toying with the idea of upgrading the CPU to the 5800X 3D. But, you know, a couple people building new computers, so I want to see how it fares on theirs with a CPU upgrade. Because sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's not. It's hard to judge that kind of stuff. But I do think I'd get a big improvement from the 5800 from what I've read. And it should just be a drop-in replacement for me. So not at all. Oh, there go the farm fields. Yeah, it's not bad. It is pretty good. I think the 3070 is plenty. It's really just the quest for stability. As far as flying big airliners, busy places, which is all anyone's after, and I don't know how good it gets. But it works well. Thanks for coming along today. Yeah, we're not quite lined up with the magenta line, but it's pretty close here. So let's see, we've got that terrain 5,000 feet to the south of us. Plenty of windmills to the south and west. And off our right, really. Let's see, have we formally crossed into New Mexico? Oh yeah, we're just about on the border here now. So welcome to New Mexico, everybody. New Mexico, the, well, what is New Mexico? I forget. One of the Four Corners states, one of the mountain states. The land of enchantment. That's what it is. Welcome to New Mexico. Now, when I was a kid, I did some hiking out here. I went to Philmont as a Boy Scout. That's for, I think, in the north New Mexico. We're kind of going through, well, north central. But that was up in the mountains of New Mexico. It was a great time. It was like 2 weeks of hiking. It's a cool place. I mean, the mountains and the roads are just very long, and it's just very vast in terms of scale and everything. So we're kind of cutting through the middle north of the state. We'll go through Albuquerque. Santa Fe is further north of Albuquerque. I'm not sure what that's in comparison to Intel anymore. I'm not up to date on my Intel, to be honest. I mean, the 3700X is like a half step up from the 3600, which is, I don't know, I'd compare it to an i5, but I may be off base there. Intel purists might know more. Alright, so we can start to think a little bit here. We got Tango Charlie Charlie coming up. We'll have to start thinking about when to start climbing. I mean, Santa Rosa, we got... That's field elevation of 5,000 feet, so we're still good at 7,500. So I think once we cross Santa Rosa, we'll be looking at... We do have a couple VORs we can work with there. We'll give that a shot, though. Yeah. What generation i5? To be honest, I'm not a good PC builder. I lose track of it. I tune in every 3 or 4 years when I'm building a new one, and then I kind of zone out. I've heard that the Intel stuff's pretty good nowadays as far as the value proposition, but I'm hoping if I get 5800 X3D, this machine will go for another 2 or 3 years, maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know. We'll see what comes with the sim in the next few years. And this is really all I do that's graphically intensive. Fair enough. Not a bad place for a PC to be. So 8 miles, and then let's see, what's our next nav aid? I guess we don't have one. We're going, oh no, we can follow Tucumari outbound heading 242, so we'll just spin our course around to 242 and take that outbound. Yeah, I've never really, I don't feel like I've ever caught the upgrade quite right. I tend to run them out a long time. Like my first system, which I built probably in, oh god, 2016. I think that had an i3. And I ran that one until 2020. But I basically, because I had kind of built a bargain PC at the time, I had to rebuild everything. So that's been nice about this one that I have now. Because I think I built this PC. I started it in 2020. But I've upgraded the graphics card. Because I started out with a 2060, I think. And then, yeah, drop-in replacement for the processor, hopefully, would be good. So some good upgradability. But you have to kind of spend, I think you have to set up for a certain amount. And I feel like Intel turns that over more often, but I don't know that that's true or not. I can't speak intelligently about that. Let's go heading 240 now. And spin that course out a little bit. And then we'll do a little bit of flying to... do a little bit of dial flying to bring that in. We'll just keep it going straight due west. Out in front of us, the town of Tucumari. Chris, thank you for coming along. Have a good evening. Happy holidays. If I don't see you, take it easy, man. Appreciate y'all sticking around with us. We're flying over the town of Tucumari, New Mexico. Heading for Albuquerque, the home of the Isotopes of the Pacific Coast League. One Walter White. What else is Albuquerque famous for? I don't know. Hot air balloons in New Mexico. So we could go ballooning as a channel. Might be a good one. GA flights are good. I enjoy them too. I find them harder to set up for me, personally. It's harder for me to set up a compelling GA flight. I feel like I don't get very creative. But stuff like this is really awesome because it's like, it makes me actually do it. Let's go into nav mode now. I should be hand flying, but meh. We'll get a little further down the road. What are we making? 195 ground speed. We're booking it now. But I love this plane for GA. Especially cross country. It's nice to be able to kind of book it at 180, pushing 200 knots. So you can cover some distance. Like a big trip like this, we can do in 8 or 9 chunks, which is manageable. It's a cool little rock down there. So we're finally, I will say, we're finally out of the Great Plains. And we're into the Southwest. So we should get some good geology, some good geography. Good stuff like that. But it is fun to explore. So if you're just joining us, we are Transcon 2022. This is our yearly flight across the United States. We're flying the Cessna 310R right now. We're doing a fuel check. We're good on fuel. We departed Amarillo, Texas about 45 minutes ago. We are well on our way to Albuquerque now. We just crossed Tucumari. Crossed into New Mexico not long ago. We're now heading for Santa Rosa Route 66 Airport. This is one right off of old Route 66. There's a car museum across the street if you want to check out some cars. They have 30 cars on display, which I think is pretty good. And we're basically going to keep following this, which is now Interstate 40, all the way west to Albuquerque and then beyond, because we're going to go out to after Albuquerque, we're going to hit Flagstaff, Arizona, I think. We'll kind of cruise north of Phoenix. We'll maybe Gallup. Or maybe Gallup. Winslow, Arizona, which is from what song? Can I remember what song it is? Oh, yeah. Eagles. It's an Eagles song. For your VFR trivia question of the day. A business jet that I think should be added to 2020. Well, let's see. I feel like saying a Challenger would be boring because we kind of have a CRJ. And it's the same thing without the trim. I really like the Honda Jet. That's already in there. And I'm really, I guess like a Falcon would be fun. Like a Falcon 9, right? Isn't that the 3-engine one? I'm not a bizjet aficionado, but I do like, I like Max Verstappen's Falcon 9. I think it is. Tri-jet. Looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's my answer. Might be a bad answer, but another thing in Arizona. Don't they build those in Arizona, some of them? Maybe I'm making that up. But I don't know. But even like a Challenger or something like that would be good. Just kind of a bigger one. Longitude sized. I don't have the premium deluxe version, so I don't get the longitude, but something on the order of the longitude. I feel like the H-Jet, Honda Jet, and the CJ4 are just kind of small. I like a medium sized. A Gulfstream would be good, yeah. And then we could do the NASA Gulfstream. That's I'm changing my nah. I'm not gonna change my answer, but that's a second place. Because way back in the day on Flight Sim 2, I made the NASA Gulfstream for I think the CJ4. That'd look good on the CRJ too. It's red in 242. Are we on nav mode? We are on nav mode, so that's good. Flying we're pretty much directly over Route 66 now. Gulfstream would be fun. I don't know the breeds of Gulfstream, but so a Challenger. What else would be fun? Falcon 9. I mean, the H-Jet was the funky one. I mean, the Vision Jet's also a cool one. Just because it's a little personal jet kind of thing. Trying to think of what else we see. I mean, there's the Hawkers. Well, on our way. Cruising over Route 66. We got a little friend up here. A happy little plane. Let's see who that is. Let's see. That is American 1550. Flying Delta, Dallas Fort Worth to Las Vegas International Airport. I'm not seeing what flight level they're at, but high up. High and fast. And so I'm calling it, we're about halfway there. Our next stop's Santa Rosa, which is going to be an airport that we're going to see visually. If we don't see it in a number of miles, if we don't see it in 54 miles, we've done something wrong. And at that point, we're going to make a right-hand turn 270 to the Auto VOR 114.0, which I can tune in here. So on VATSIM, I'm using FSLTL. I'm all FSLTL. I'd used AIG for a while, but stripped that out. So easy. I mean, the frame, it's a bit of a frame rate hit. I think it almost crashed my system for across the pond, but it worked pretty well, I think. Yeah, I just like something simple for that. I don't need a ton. I just wanted to show most of the things. I don't even need all the European airlines. I just need the big Delta, United, American. And if I get a Pan Am, that's gravy. So let's keep an eye out for Santa Rosa at this point. I'm going to check the map and see what does the road do. So we're looking for kind of a junction with a railroad. The railroad's going to head off to the south. So that, I think, is the railroad. And that's the highway. And then the road's going to continue straight ahead, due west. And we are going to continue straight ahead, due west, heading 270. We're cruising near 7,500 feet for the moment. We're gonna have to climb a little bit later on. Probably, maybe we might be able to get away with 9,500 and maneuver around some of the terrain a little bit. But that'll be the Sandia Mountains just as we get close to Albuquerque. Favorite airplane? Gun to my head, I think 737. I love the PMDG 737 and I love this plane. Those are the two favorites. I think depending on what flavor of flying I want to do, it's either this plane for GA or the 737. I don't know why the 737, it just clicks with me. I haven't tried the Phoenix or anything else, but I do like that. The 310R. And we'll just throw an honorable mention to the DC-6. I think it earns an honorable mention. I don't fly it as much as I should, but... Alright. I'm going to go over to heading mode. I shouldn't change this. Or, speaking of DC-6, we're going to do the little DC-6 thing. We're going to put it in heading mode. We're going to change the course to 270, due west, and we're going to change over to the other VOR, which is auto. It's a ways away. So we're going to point ourselves in the right direction and pick it up. And let's see, can we see the airport yet? Not yet. Our computer is telling us, Kit's telling us 10 miles. So just kind of relaxing low and slow over New Mexico. And it is an interesting state. It's a little greener than you might expect in places. But still pretty arid. Yeah, it's a good plane. I like to think it's part nationalism, part some deeper efficient some deeper connection to how the Boeings work, but I don't know. ETA is a good question. We're hitting Santa Rosa now. And, I mean, I'd say once hitting Santa Rosa, we're 60% done. We've been making good speed, but I'd say about half hour, 35 minutes. And that, I think, right there is the airport. Got a little canyon here, I guess. And you can't really see, I don't know if we can, I guess you can kind of see the railroad going out that way. So, 35 minutes. We got, I was quoted at 1 hour 26 minutes leaving Albuquerque, but I assumed a heading, or I assumed a speed of 170, and we're doing 190 now, so it's pretty good. Sam, welcome aboard. We have, last time we were out, last couple flights actually, we had a couple IFR flights. Tulsa was very cloudy. Coming in, we had to do a instrument approach to, not quite to minimums, but low visibility. It was, I think, below 1,000 feet. So that was one where you can't see. It's a different challenge in these airplanes. In the big jets, it's not as scary. When you can't see anything out of this plane, it's a little tougher. Thanks for coming along. Thankfully, that weather, it was a couple weeks of bad weather over the Midwest. So the last 2 weeks we flew, we were basically clouded in over Texas and Oklahoma. Alright, so let's set a heading 270 now. And we'll wait for that, we'll wait for the yellow needle to give us some life. So thank y'all for coming along, for just joining us. We are, let's say, 65% of the way there to Albuquerque, New Mexico. We departed Amarillo about an hour ago. Making good time, good speed, beautiful day. We got about 60 miles to the next waypoint, which is the Auto VOR, which itself is probably 20 miles east of Albuquerque. About 20 minutes. See if we can do a flyby. Good time. So we should also start thinking about climbing. We've got some terrain coming up. So we hit Santa Rosa, which is here. Santa Rosa Route 66 Airport. We're now heading this purple line. Terrain's going to start coming up. So this minimum altitude, or the maximum terrain altitude, 8,400 feet in this box. We're currently at 7,500, so we'll have to start climbing to get over this stuff here. I think we'll target 9,500. Try and work ourselves through this pass here. We're following Route 66, the historic Route 66, which nowadays is traced approximately by Interstate 40 here. So we can probably wind our way through here towards New Mexico, and no New Mexico Center on, or no Albuquerque Center online, so no ATC coming into Albuquerque yet. But if they do come online, we'll be obligated to talk to them. Weather at Albuquerque. Wind 200. Oh no, that's the time. Wind 360 at 7 knots. 10 surf mile visibility. Let's refresh that real quick and pull it up in an ATIS. We got Albuquerque Information Victor, 52 past the hour. Wind 350 at 7 knots. 10 surf mile visibility. Altimeter 3024. They are using visual approach runway 8, runway 3, departing runway 8. So let's see, what do we got at Albuquerque? It's been a while since we flew to Albuquerque. Albuquerque's fun in a big jet because they have a cool RNAV approach that comes, kind of curves you in around the mountains. Another real long runway, 13,000 feet. So we've got a choice between runway 8, runway 26. We could also probably use the little 1-3 and 2-1 here. What did I say the wind was? Remember a goldfish. 350 at 7. So 26 is fine for that. And that's actually nice because we can just make a straight in. So runway 26 is what we're going to plan on for the moment. Now, one more thing. If we were good pilots, we'd do a fuel check. 200 pounds in both tanks. That's pretty good. That's more than enough. We're burning, for reference, we're at about 75% power. We're doing probably 100 and... That's in 5, so 110. We're burning 110 pounds an hour. We have 200 pounds in the main tank, so we've got about an hour and a half of fuel, conservatively. Plus an extra 200 pounds, it looks like, so. Got about 4 hours. I think we're going to go ahead, let's step climb it up to 8,500 for the moment. And then I think we'll probably hand fly the rest of it once we get to auto. So for the climb, let's increase our props a little bit. We'll increase power a bit. Come up to our altitude, just set 8,500 on the box here. And gentle at 500 feet per minute ought to do it. No need to switch tanks, because we're not going to be flying for more than 90 minutes. Certainly not at this rate. Now again, we are on VATSIM, so no human ATC right now. But if anyone, there were a couple of people at Albuquerque last time I checked. So we'll make our traffic calls. We are Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey for this trip. This legs, we're doing a better job approximating the magenta line. That's 8,500 feet now. Getting just a little bit left of the, line, or to the right of the line, I should say. About 40 miles. And then let's just think about Albuquerque. What are we, when we hit Otto, we're going to be about 30 miles to the east. So 60 miles to go. Probably keep leaning it out as we climb. I mean, again, because the elevation, the ground, AGL, ground level's higher and higher as we get further west here. So even though it doesn't feel like we're very high up, we are actually, you know, cruising 8,500 feet. We're going to push it to 9,000 feet. This is not a turbocharged or supercharged engine, so we do not have good high altitude performance. We're getting a little bit of bumpiness here, a little bit of turbulence. But that just keeps us pointed in the right direction. Well, on our way out over New Mexico. Thank you all for coming along. Again, if you haven't, and you want to support the channel, you want to see some more stuff, like, comment, subscribe, do all the usual YouTube stuff. Helps us out. We've got a couple flights coming up. Obviously, we did our, did a trip in the Beaver last week. Got a trip coming up in the H-Jet this week. Fun IFR flight from some low visibility action into Bar Harbor, Maine from Philadelphia. Start to see some mountains. Hey, let's see. Do we have any, we're going to be pretty much all visual into Albuquerque, but if we did want it, we could take an ILS. No, we couldn't. That's the RNAV. We'd want the RNAV Zulu coming from the south. But this was the one I had mentioned earlier. I mean, both of them are kind of fun, the Yankee and the Zulu, but you kind of come in here, and you've got to do this RNAV approach. Field elevation is like 5,000 feet. 300 feet. So you're a mile high here too, but coming in from the north, and then you do a final turn. Pretty short final, actually, all things considered. All things considered, pretty short final. But the Zulu is just the same thing, but the other way. So we're gonna have mountains off to our right as we come in for 2-6, and we'll just have to see what's going on in the pattern when we get there. Bouncing around a little bit. So that's what we have to surmount. Let's go ahead and start our next climb out. I'm actually at full power. I've got the throttles maxed out. So this is, you know, all we get. Let's go ahead and put altitude up to 9.5. And we'll just climb out at 500 feet per minute. Or so. Nice to have that map to the honeycomb. 23 miles now from the VR. We can fix our heading a little bit. I'm a little off to the left. And so then, yeah, we're just climbing over the mountains to get in. So let's see, what else do we have? We got, doesn't look like anyone on the ground at Albuquerque. We got one arrival, that's us. And then I think, oh, it looks like four planes going to San Diego. Yeah, that's true, Kirk. Landing lights, we've got them out now. We could pull them in. Let's see. What are we cruising? Well, we're climbing. Let's level out and then we can test. Yeah, we could retract landing lights. Give us a couple extra knots. Especially since there's no one around to need to see us, really. But hey, an excuse to use my new bound switch anytime. So that's 9,500. How do I feel? How do we feel about this? Let's bring landing lights in. So we're doing, what, 165? Ground speed. 150 indicated. I also got an altimeter in Albuquerque. It was 3024, I think. How far off am I? Well, a little ways off, yeah. Oh, a lot off. So 3024. Well, not to worry, we're actually at 10,000 feet. And that's why it's important to set your altimeter, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm, you know, not one to complain. Let's go up and let's go the rest of the way. And so just over that ridge should be Albuquerque. Back to heading. So that's basically our last obstacle to navigate to. Field elevation 5,300 at the threshold for runway 26. If we come in over the mountains, we can try and make a straight in. If we don't like that, we can take the scenic route out over Albuquerque, turn around, and do kind of a downwind. I haven't decided what we want to do yet. Thank you, Kirk. Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming along tonight. Here, Transcon 2222. I think we're on the 7th leg of this trip. We started out in Long Island, New York, at Montauk. Flew past New York City to Gettysburg. Then we did Gettysburg to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh to Dayton, Indianapolis, and then out to Chicago. In Chicago, we took the vote to go Route 66. And that's all she wrote. We hit Route 66 to Chicago, St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Amarillo, Texas. We passed over Santa Rosa, New Mexico. Now we're bearing down on Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I think the final 2 legs of the trip should be about 2 hours each to get to Flagstaff, Arizona, and then on to Los Angeles, California, and the Pacific Ocean. Now, I don't know how we'll judge completion. I guess we got to have the wingtip touch the Pacific, or go out, because I guess did we get out over the Atlantic when we departed? I'd have to go watch the tape. Is that the goal? And then we have to pick an arrival field into LA. So maybe we'll vote on that in the next one. Which airport we want to go into. We could go to Orange County. We could go to LAX. A little plane in a big airport. We could go to any of them. Really? Santa Barbara. Burbank. Any of them. Well on our way now, and yeah, we've got that made, I think. Let's see who that friend is. We've got a happy little jet crossing the sky. Everybody. Yeah, I don't see any opposite direction traffic. Oh no, there he is. Everybody say hello to Southwest Flight 176. On a trip from Phoenix Sky Harbor to Pittsburgh International Airport, cruising at 3,500 feet, Southwest 176. It's cool that that's a person flying. We're going to cross, and we are VFR, so we're just going to do what we have to do to get into Albuquerque. We're going to kind of shoot that pass and then come in. So let me go ahead and do some work here. Make sure we're trimmed out, got some balance. We are at high elevation. It's not super warm. This is a high elevation field, which is going to pose some complications if we're not careful. So let's get ready for our approach into Albuquerque. Again, this field is at 5,300, so ideally a pattern altitude would probably be about 6,500 feet. So we'd have a little bit of descending to do once we get over the mountains. And if, because we're only going to have about 10 miles, so I'm not sure we can make that work. So we may just dip out. If we don't like what we see, we'll do a little RPO here. If we don't like what we see, we'll turn right, just follow the ridge line out away from New Mexico. I don't think there's any other traffic arriving in Albuquerque right now, so we shouldn't be in anyone's way. Yeah, this is all on VATSIM, Kirk. So VATSIM, we're in uncontrolled airspace. But we're about to enter a class Charlie. If someone was online, an air traffic controller was online, we'd talk to them, but we don't have anyone to talk to at the moment. Although I'll say we've had more, I don't know if we've had more ATC on this trip than I've expected. Hard to say. Yeah, but it's VATSIM with FSLTL. Or whatever that is, from the fly-by-wire team. For model matching. It's cruising near 1,000. 10,500 feet. Here in our trusty Cessna 310R. Let's see if there's a good screenshot in here. Yeah, it's okay. Got a little right turning tendency here. So let's see, what else can we do to help ourselves out here? We have Sky Vector. Does Albuquerque have a VOR? We have the Albuquerque VOR on 113.2. Not 2.2, 1.3, 113.2. That is a little past the airport. So it's not terribly interesting, but it could be useful if something happens. Alright, and let's go. Sterile cockpit here. And play out the jazz. I don't know, some days I'm jamming to it, some days not, but I was jamming to it today. Alright, serious flight sim time. Let's go. We're going into Albuquerque, New Mexico. One last weather check. 8:38. So they shouldn't be a new weather report for a little bit. We're still information Victor from 52 in the last hour. Wind 350 at 7 knots. Sensor from visibility. Clear skies. Temperature outside is 6 degrees Celsius, which is kind of chilly Fahrenheit. Altimeter 3024. They're using runway 8 and runway 3. We are going to choose... Well, they're using runway 8. Why are they using runway 8? They're killing me here. Real World is using runway 8. VATSIM is using whatever we want. Yeah, wind 350 at 7. Yeah, I guess. Let's visualize that, because I'm not good at angles and numbers and whatnot. Let's lock that in. All right. Oh, yeah, so that's like a straight crosswind. I am worse at numbers than I thought. Let's pull this up just for... So in my head, it was a lot better than that, but we've got about a 7-knot crosswind. Big jet don't care, but in a light little plane like ours, I do care, kind of. So let's explore alternatives. The next alternative is runway 3 and 21. Is that right? I lost it. So runway 3 and 21 is going to be our next best bet. And that would give us runway 3. Which, I guess works. So let's plan on runway 3. Kind of disappointed it won't be more straight in, but that's fine. And then, yeah, so we will kind of stay north of the field and enter a downwind. Well, let's enter a right downwind and stay south of the city. I take that back. We're going to stay south of the airport and enter a right downwind for runway 6. So we're going to descend down to 6,500 feet once we get over this mountain pass, and we can even really start descending now. Start bringing the speed back at least. Let's get those landing lights back out. And at this point, we'll just start bringing back power. And keeping an eye on terrain on all sides. I can? Can I do that? That would be nice, wouldn't it? I'll fiddle with that in a little bit. Where's it in here? Yeah, either way. Good tip, Kirk. Thank you. We'll investigate. I have not gotten all of the features of the flying iPad down. Alright, so we're about, well, ET is 5 minutes from our landing here in Albuquerque. So let's get buckled up. If we were in an airliner, we would put on our seatbelt sign and get all ready to go, but we're not. Keep and fit at least 15 inches of manifold pressure in. We got to clear this last little hurdle, and then we're on. It's nice to see mountains again. I missed the mountains. Last time we saw mountains was in West Virginia and Pennsylvania, so. And now we're going to see plenty of them. Coming up, I think. So let's go ahead. We're descending now through 9,500. Also a good time before we get too overwhelmed to get flight recorder going. And again, what's the battle plan here? We're going to be staying south of the field. We're gonna, we can bug, since we're not using the VOR anymore, we can bug the heading. We can bug the course of the runway, our final approach course, which is going to be 030. So let's bug that course in. 030, just to remind knuckleheaded me where we're going. And let's just put in a nonsense VOR so we can, 16.9 should be fine. We'll see. That'll be something very appropriate to New Mexico, maybe. So that just gives me a thin yellow line I can follow to the, runway so I can tell where I'm at. Albuquerque, out in front of us. Welcome to Albuquerque, the city of Albuquerque, home of the Isotopes and Breaking Bad. And other things, I'm sure, but that's all that's coming to mind right now. It is a fun, it's a fun RNAV approach to it if you're doing it in a 737 or something. Our little airplane, it shouldn't be, but it's a little challenging. There's the field right in front of us. You can see runway 26. That's why it would be nice and convenient, because it's straight ahead. But instead, the runway we're going to be taking is on an angle and coming the other way. So we'll keep an eye out. I think it goes out that way, kind of away from us. So we'll kind of stay away from the threshold. Again, in real life, well, in real life, we'd have a controller telling us what to do and where to go. They might keep us north of the field and circle us in. It just depends on what the arrival flows are. They're also landing the other way, I guess. So it'd be departing traffic we'd have to worry about. But now we are, we're 7 to the east of the field. We're Twin Cessna 86 Tango Whiskey. Let's let them know we're there. Albuquerque traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We are about 7 to the east of Albuquerque. We are going to be setting up for right downwind to land runway 3, full stop Albuquerque. And we're just going to kind of tuck ourselves up next to runway 26. And then if we go around, we'll kind of go out left, I think. So we'll go... if for whatever reason we need to go around, let's go around to the left. Keep that throttle in. We're now at 6,500 feet. We're still a bit fast. Is my problem. I've got my landing lights out. But we're going to have to kind of... I'm going to try and get down to 6,500. Doing a little bit of a Maverick approach here. Going to buzz the tower. Thankfully, on a little prop plane, if you're too fast, you're not that too fast. It's not like a jet where it really runs away from you. So again, 6,500 feet is what we're shooting for here. We're down below 6, so that's 6,000. Here comes 6,500. We're going to go over that little small stubby one here. We've got flight recorder on. Landing lights are on. When we get a little closer, we'll roll out on final, props full forward. Mixtures will be richened up a little bit as we descend here. That's about right there. They're still leaned for field elevation. We're coming close on 2.6 now. And then the runway right in front of us is going to be what we're aiming for. We're a little low now, so let's give power in and start bleeding speed. Use a little trim. And just keep that coming back. Coming at 6,200 feet now. Let's make a left-hand turn. And just line ourselves up with the yellow line. And prepare for our approach. Again, I'm not in any great hurry. We've got no other traffic in the area, so let's make our calls and get on the ground. Albuquerque traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We are right downwind to land. Runway 3, full stop, Albuquerque. We are within the white arc, so let's bring gear out. Flaps down. And we'll have to add a little bit of power to keep it going. Hold on to my stick. We're a little lower than I'd like to be. 5,900 now. There's the threshold. We're going to wait for 45 behind us. So as it's just disappearing out that back right window, that's when we're going to turn base and then final for runway 3 here at Albuquerque. And we kind of want to put, if you see the blue arc, we got a blue line there on the airspeed indicator. We want to put our speed there as we turn base, and then we'll do it between 90 and 100 knots will be the goal. So, but we're kind of dirtied up now. We're going to take a lot of power to keep it, to maintain altitude. Out over South Albuquerque now. If I was a better Breaking Bad fan, I would know where people lived, but I don't. I don't know if that's spelled out in the show. More knowledgeable people could probably figure that out. I haven't seen that show in forever, but... Alright, so that's pretty good. Let's start making a right-hand turn and call base. Albuquerque traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, right base to land, full stop, runway 3, Albuquerque. And we'll keep the power coming back. But the trick I've found with this airplane and landing it more smoothly. It's not hard to land smoothly, but it can be hard to land gracefully, let's say. So we're rolling out now. Where's the runway? There's the runway. Got it in sight. Doing a little oblong base to final here. I don't see any pappies. I'm going to trust my gut. And again, we're just going to try and keep that speed now between 90 and 100 knots. And go full flaps. Albuquerque traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, short final land, runway 3, full stop, Albuquerque. And then I haven't looked at the airport diagram specifically for where we're going to go after this. Ooh, that's some wind. Again, the crosswind's going to be blowing us from the right to left. 7 knots, so not hugely terrible. That is really... So this is real life what Albuquerque is seeing, in theory. That's 90 knots. And again, it's kind of windy. We have plenty of runway, so I'm okay with being a little fast. I'd rather be a little fast than a little slow in this situation. Again, we got lots of runway, lots of space. We're alone. It's all right. A little low now. Little low. Do the DCS thing. Power. Oh, there are the pappies. So we got 4 red. We're real low, but that's all right. Coming in. Coming in. Here we go. So we've got the runway made. I'm going to keep the power in. We're right at 90 knots. It's bumpy, so let's put this thing on the ground. Touchdown zone. And there you go. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Albuquerque. We're going to exit here, Foxtrot 1. And where do people park at Albuquerque? Albuquerque is one of those airports that's combined air freight, National Guard, air base, and terminal. So the military base is at the north end. Where's the FBO? Oh, General Aviation Area. Okay. So we're off at Foxtrot 1. Let's turn landing lights off. Strobes off. Leave everything else running. I'm going to leave flaps out so we can do the replay, but... And then let's see where we're taxiing, just because it's kind of an interesting airport. We've got the Military National Guard base up at the north-hand side. So there's the Air National Guard ramp and the military base here. All that base op stuff. The commercial terminal is out here. And then we're going to the General Aviation Area, which is going to be basically straight ahead Fox 1. So let's call up everybody around and tell them where we're going. Albuquerque traffic, Twin Cessna 86 Tango Whiskey. We vacated runway 3, taxiing to General Aviation Parking via Foxtrot 1, Albuquerque. We'll park straight ahead. This is going to be the area we're going to, and yeah, that's it. So welcome to Albuquerque, everybody. It is chilly in Fahrenheit, 6 degrees Celsius. But other than that, beautiful day. I guess night at this point in Albuquerque, but we'll taxi straight ahead. We'll get a little bit of a landing replay set up here. And yeah, so that's another successful leg of Transcon 2022. Thank you all for coming along so far. Let's do a landing replay and wrap this thing up. Let's see how we did. We're just gonna cut to the chase a little bit. Just for the record, some Toolkit Pro called that negative 11 feet per minute. Not too bad, although I thought it was further, closer to center line. So we'll get the airplane cleaned up. Because this is a state-saving airplane, so it'll remember how I leave it. I'm going to hopefully not leave it a mess. You never know. So we'll clean this thing up. But thank you all for coming. Again, thank you, Kirk. It's not a graceful plane to land, no matter what you do. I mean, this landing gear design doesn't do anyone any favors. Because you're already kind of flared, and there's just not much room for a flare. So no matter what you do, even a pretty smooth one, that nose wheel tends to plop down. And it's all right. So we've got engines. We're on the ground. We're good. We don't need anything else. Let me end my replay real quick. Flaps up. And cut engines. Let's turn our heat off. Thank you for coming along. Let's button up this airplane, get everything closed up. Air is off. Magnetos can come off. Pitot heat can come off. Aux pumps are off. Maybe should have been on. Nav lights can stay on because we're in the airplane. Taxi lights. Beacon all off. Avionics. Fuel cut off. I think that about does it. Let's open up. Avionics. Alternators. And we'll put on all of our covers and stuff too, because hey, we paid good money for it. All right, thank you all for coming along again on this, the 7th edition of Transcon 22. Kirk, you're right. I do need to update the stickers. What do I owe you guys? I owe you a sticker for everything from Long Island to Albuquerque. I'm going to work on that tonight. I'll knock it out. I do need to add stickers to the... So what we're talking about is the stickers here for different flights we've done on the channel. Went to Boise, Grand Canyon, and Las Vegas, and that door will be pretty full actually next time we see it. I got to add some flags too. We'll get to it. I got to do some paperwork, but we're getting down to the end of this one though. I mean, it's been fun. I'm real excited to finish this out. Cessna 310's fun, and so yeah, thank you all again for coming along. Always great. Really appreciate everybody's support in the channel. Stickers. What about stickers in the plane? I don't know anything about stickers in the plane. Oh, the Easter egg. I know what you're talking about. I don't know how to do that. Sam, appreciate it. Thanks for coming along. I know what you're talking about now, Kirk, though. I don't know how to do that, and I'll look it up, but I'm glad I'm not that behind. People are calling me out. So yeah. Good flight. Good fun flight. Good fun place to fly in the world. Always a blast coming along. Thanks for everybody's support of the channel. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Till then, safe flying, everybody.